Hey, it's LSEM Aldecar here with a little etiquette video for you. This is going to be more of an educational video than a tips video. Let's go over what we're going to be doing today. It's going to be 5 laps at Lime Rock with no chicanes, and we're going to have 10 drivatars on the track with us. This isn't single player. They're set to pro difficulty, and we're going to be driving the American Iron car that we ran for American Iron this past season. A700, of course. This is not the 675 build. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. This etiquette video is going to be based on passing and good opportunities to do it and bad opportunities. So when you're in an online race, one of the first opportunities you get to pass is right at the start. Now granted, you don't do a rolling start in online races, but as you can see here, this is rather clean. You'll never see this in an online lobby, but you'll notice there that I thread the needle through several passes there. Now I will tell you, the one rule that I kind of keep in my own mind is drive for the open space. And right there, that last turn right there, you notice that there's 2 cars in front of me. They're both side by side. There is no open space there. So first thing I want to talk about is when not to pass. Okay, so if you have no open space in front of you, meaning that you are so close behind the car in front of you that you cannot get around reasonably, or you have multiple cars in front of you and they are blocking your way around, that is not a time to try to make a move. Your main responsibility as a driver at that point is to try to avoid contact. So just like what I did in that situation, I did not go for a pass. I didn't even gun it. I just kind of hung back and waited until I had the opportunity on the straightaway after the next turn to go around the car in front of me. The next thing is pick your line. Now you'll notice here, I tried to go for the inside there. It was like a dive bomb attempt, basically, and that car in front of me, the McGregor car, basically cut me off. It wasn't a bad cutoff. I did not have the right to the inside line there, and you know, he had the right to the racing line. He was in front of me. I did not have any ground on him at all, so I backed out there. And we'll go over it again. There's going to be a replay after this, and I'm going to kind of cover some of the main points again. But you've got to pick your line. Now obviously everyone wants to take the racing line. That's the fastest way to get around the track. But when you're contesting a turn with another car, you have to take that car into consideration when you pick your line. So you have the racing line, then you have the inside line, then you have the outside line. So when entering a turn that is contested in a way, and first let's rewind a second. You know a turn is contested when the trailing car has their front quarter panel up to the rear quarter panel of the leading car. Now, as a general rule, you know, because you're not going to be able to just sit there and measure in the middle of an online race. But if you can get the nose of your car up to the back side of the driver door or the passenger door of the leading car, as a general rule, that gives you the right to take the inside line. Not the racing line, the inside line. At that point, the turn is contested. What does this mean? Well, if you're gonna go inside, you've got to stay inside. If you're gonna go outside, you have to stay outside. And we're about to see a perfect example of that coming up on this next lap. In this case, I'm going to be taking the outside line. Now you'll notice that I'm faster than this guy, definitely. I've only got the drivatar difficulty set to pro. So let's observe what happens here. AI brakes a little early, I brake a little bit late. There is a little contact here, but watch what happens. I pick the outside line. We're side by side going through the turn. I know I'm faster than him, so I stay to the outside the entire time. Now, understand, this is the computer racing, so the computer knows what to do. In an online lobby, what you see a lot, and it drives me nuts, is that car, if it were a player, very well would have taken the inside line knowing that I was going to go around, but then on the exit of the turn, they'd have swung out like they were on the racing line. And I see that in online lobbies a lot, and it drives me nuts. If you are on the inside of a contested turn, you have to stick to the inside all the way through. One thing that you have to remember is that by taking the inside line, you will already have the advantage on the exit. So your chances of coming out in front, whether you take the racing exit or not, are pretty good. So that being said, let's go ahead and let's review some of these situations real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to one of the first scenarios I want to talk about, and it's when I threaded the needle, and then I talked about how if you don't have open space, don't go for it. So let me change the game camera real quick, and we're going to go ahead and rewind a little bit. Go all the way back to where I threaded the needle. So you drive for the open space when it's there. So you'll see here, let's go left a little further, right there. So I threaded the needle right here. Saw that open space. I knew I was going faster. It probably would have been more problematic if I had tried to slow down right there in that kind of traffic. So I just kind of held my line. But right here, there's two cars in front of me. There's nowhere for me to go. Even though I'm faster, there's just nowhere for me to go. I try to make a pass on the inside there, but there's not enough room, so I wait. And then boom, a little mini cutback move, moving onto the straightaway, and I'm able to pull ahead. It's always faster and it's always easier if you pass on a straightaway. It's also safer. You're gonna have a lot less wrecks that way, unless you got somebody that's just gonna try to ram you off. But always try to pass on a straightaway. Now here's the McGregor car. This was the incident I really wanted to talk about. Now, if you're gonna go for a dive bomb, you need to be aware of the car in front of you. So I go for it there, and I get cut off. But, like I said earlier, the McGregor car had the right to do that. He had the right to the racing line. You'll notice I'm not up to his quarter panel. Even after the dive bomb right here, right there. That's the closest right there that I get. And I don't quite get the advantage. And not to mention, that was mid-corner when I even got that close. So I backed off. But right here, okay, so in this one, I managed to get up beside him, and we contest the turn all the way around. But I stayed to the inside. I didn't try to exit on the racing line. Therefore, I did not push him off. And because the computer stuck to the outside line, they didn't force me off on the inside. And coming up here, we're going to have another incident of the same. Now, there's a little contact there, but I start pulling on the straight. Computer leaves me just enough room to get by, and you see right there, very minimal contact. And then, of course, staying to the inside, computer takes the outside. I did kind of take that turn a little fast. But these are just textbook examples of what I was talking about throughout the actual race itself. So the rest of this lap was all catch up. So we're gonna fast forward, and then we're gonna review that last pass again. So right here, let's rewind it a little bit. So a late break by me, early break by the computer. That results in a little bit of contact here, and you can see it right there. Boom, boom. A little bit of a delay there. I knew that was coming. Couldn't really avoid that contact, but I minimized it. And then I chose the outside. And right there, you see I leave all that space there. That's how far you can stick to the outside on turns. And if you're faster than the other car, you're faster. And you can just go around. So keep those things in mind the next time you go into a public lobby. See if you can try to emulate it. If you're having trouble doing it in a public lobby, hop into a single player lobby and put some driver cars on. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day.